All right. Hey, guys. My name is Brandon Truckee here. I've been with High Point Networks for about 3 years, systems engineer, focused on Microsoft 365 and cloud side. I'll do a lot of Intune projects. We have Chris Watson joining.
Been with High Point 13 years. I might have worked with a couple of you over the years. I don't know. I do a lot of stuff with the Microsoft stuff on the whole platform, going to cloud, on-prem, that type of stuff. Brandon's done really good with the Intune stuff, getting that sort of stuff done. But I'm here mostly just for comedic relief, so we're good to go.
Yeah, first things first, you guys have to bear with me. First time presenting. I am a IT person. I am not a public speaker, so we'll get that off the chest right away. How many of you guys have devices in Intune currently? How many of you guys plan on putting your devices into Intune, but not currently? And then we still running WSUS anywhere? How do you guys like it? Do you want to get rid of it?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Microsoft AutoPatch today. And we're going to go over what AutoPatch is, key advantages of AutoPatch, and what it will help, what it'll provide for you guys. We'll touch on the value of business premium license compared to kind of like an eSKU license or business standard license. And in the end, if we have some time, we'll just kind of go through a simple walkthrough of the AutoPatch setup in the Intune portal from a couple of different setup scenarios. So understanding Microsoft AutoPatch. So think of AutoPatch as your IT team's autopilot for Microsoft and Windows updates. It's a cloud-based service from Microsoft that takes the hassle out of keeping Windows and Microsoft 365 apps up to date instead of manually pushing them out from WSUS or the Intune portal with regular update rings. AutoPatch kind of helps automate that process. It does the heavy lifting for you. No more approving updates and through WSUS or selecting specific updates that you want kind of deployed throughout your computers. It's more of an automated process, kind of set it and forget it. Microsoft manages these updates for Windows Edge, Teams, and Windows drivers, so your devices stay secure, productive, and running smoothly without interrupting your business and your users too much with constant out-of-band updates or restarts. So why does AutoPatch matter compared to traditional Intune update rings or something along the lines of WSUS? AutoPatch isn't just about updates. It's about making your life easier, making endpoint management easier. With AutoPatch, there's no more, like I said earlier, there's no more choosing specific updates you want to deploy. It kind of takes all of that on the back end. It's more of a set it and forget it type of deal. There's no more chasing patches or worrying about missed updates. AutoPatch handles Windows and Microsoft 365 app updates automatically, so your systems stay current without manual effort. With AutoPatch, they have what they call kind of like a smart rollouts with the update rings. Updates don't just hit everyone all at once. It goes into a phased approach, starting with a small pilot group, and depending on your guys' setup strategy, you use an Intune, you can kind of do a setup phased approach where it'll hit 10% of all devices, and then the next 10%, next 10%, and then maybe 50% and so on, with all your devices getting it by ring 5, ring 6. With AutoPatch, you get built-in compliance reporting. You need to, if you need to prove that you're secure or compliant, AutoPatch will help you with that, with the reporting tools that show which devices are up to date and which aren't. Visibility and accountability in one place, perfect for audits and peace of mind, knowing that all of your guys' devices are getting the current Windows and application updates. Staying updated means fewer vulnerabilities and less downtime. AutoPatch helps protect your organization from threats and keeps your employees productive without the scramble of pushing emergency patches. You guys can keep it on a set schedule that you kind of deemed appropriate for your guys' organization. So how does AutoPatch work behind the scenes? So what's happening under the hood when AutoPatch takes over? It's Microsoft magic, quote unquote. Updates, like I said earlier, they're phased out, rolled out in phases for safety. Updates don't just blast out to everyone all at once Patch Tuesday comes around. AutoPatch organizes devices into rings, starting small, then expanding into waves. This stage approach means issues can be caught early before they impact your entire organization. With AutoPatch comes continuous device health checks. While updates are rolling out, AutoPatch is watching closely through device analytics, and it monitors the performance and compatibility of those updates as it's deploying out to your rings. The goal of that is just to make sure that updates don't just install, they install safely, and you don't have updates that are impacting your guys' users. With AutoPatch, Microsoft has built-in safety nets. If something goes wrong, maybe an update causes a glitch with a program, they deem it's causing a reboot, causing blue screen, whatever. I mean, we all know Microsoft is 100% great on Windows updates. There's never an issue. AutoPatch can actually pause the updates midway through your guys' update rings, and if it detects an issue, it'll actually start rolling back on those early update rings.
Even though it's auto patch and automatic, can we still roll back one that came out that Microsoft doesn't feel bad about, but we do?
You can with traditional update rings in Intune. AutoPatch is kind of a automated as a service type of update ring. Microsoft knows best with AutoPatch, basically. Yep.
All your devices have to be
Into Intune, yep. Yep.
Or if you're hybrid.
Hybrid, as long as the devices are Intune joined, they can get AutoPatch. But if they're just in AD but not in Intune, then this isn't going to apply, and you'd have to get the devices enrolled into Intune.
And for the rings, AutoPatch decides whose devices to be in.
We'll touch on that in the, no worries, no, good question. It's based on device groups, and we'll touch on that later on. Any other questions right away? So some of the key advantages. So end-to-end automation with AutoPatch. AutoPatch just doesn't help with updates. It kind of, like I mentioned earlier, it owns the entire process. From scheduling to deployment, everything runs automatically. There's no manual steps. Once everything's all set up, no guesswork. It's just going to consistently and reliably apply patches across your guys' organization in the way you set up in the AutoPatch kind of configuration. Because of this, there's less manual work, fewer mistakes. Have you accidentally ever approved an update in WSUS for even, not servers necessarily, but Windows endpoints or anything that caused issues that was hard to roll back? When humans handle these, we tend to make mistakes sometimes. AutoPatch can help kind of remove that layer and the risk between automating the update process. No more late night patch windows missed or missed updates that leave systems exposed. And with automation comes more time for you guys. More time to do whatever else you do on a day-to-day basis, not spending running around the office, pushing updates to computers or fixing computers that aren't updating. So one of AutoPatch's biggest wins is that it makes staying secure and compliant almost effortless in Microsoft sense. The faster you patch, the smaller your attack surface is going to be. AutoPatch applies these updates as soon as they're ready, closing doors for vulnerabilities, before hackers can exploit them. So you get with that, compliance without the headache. For industries like healthcare, finance, or government, compliance isn't optional, it's critical. AutoPatch helps meet those standards by ensuring that systems are always current and audit ready.
Yeah, one thing with, the compliance piece of it, people go, well, I'm in the cloud, I'm compliant. Microsoft is compliant. You need to understand that. Microsoft on the back end is HIPAA compliant, is all these other compliance. Your tenant may not be. So the auto patch kind of helps get that compliance piece of updates done, because if you're not doing auto patch and you're just trying to limp along of just, hey, we'll have, just the regular Windows do patching and stuff like that, you may be out of compliance because of that. Even, you're in the cloud, the machine is Intune joined, it's all there, but you can still be out of compliance at that part.
Yep, and every update reduces risk. By utilizing auto patch, you can consistently make sure that your devices are getting the latest updates. So this is kind of not an off-topic thing. So with, not with auto patch, but as of April of this year, Hot Patch is now available for Windows 11 enterprise devices, 24H2 and Server 2025. This is kind of completely separate from AutoPatch, but it is something that you can enroll devices within Intune, again, assuming that you're running Windows 11 24H2, and the big key there is it needs to be the enterprise SKU, not Pro, not Business. The way Hot Patch works is January, April, July, and October are called baseline months. Those are going to be the months where you're going to get, all the full Windows updates that will require a device reboot, whether it be quality and feature updates or cumulative OS updates on February, March, May, June, so far down the line. Those are going to be the kind of catch up or the hot patch months where the device is just going to get a security update and it won't require a reboot. It'll just apply that security update on the back end. If a feature or quality update gets released in those time frames, devices that are enrolled into Hot Patch will get the next kind of standard cumulative month. So January, April, July.
Yeah, you can't use them both together. It's if you're doing Hot Patch, it's the auto patch isn't there. You're doing the other, correct?
You can use both. Yep, but they're two separate configurations. Auto patch is going to be something that you can push out to all your devices, no matter, well, as long as it's Windows 11. Auto patch will work with Pro, Business, Enterprise, all the SKUs. And then Hot Patch is a separate config that you just enable in the Intune portal.
So I know you brought up under Hot Patch Server 2025. What about the Auto Patch? Does that do any of the servers?
It does not. It's an Intune configuration, and because Intune does not support servers yet, you're stuck with just your Windows 11 devices.
Do you have a question? Oh.
I said that's because servers are a new concept.
Yeah. It's because, like I said earlier, they don't want you to be on-prem anymore. It's weird, they kept saying, no, we're not pushing anybody to the cloud. We're a hybrid thing. And then a year later, it's, nah, we're getting rid of on-prem. Go to the cloud.
How many of you guys are using business premium licenses? What about E-Series? Microsoft 365 or Office 365? Okay.
So you got the whole suite of everything in there.
E5s. Yep, so the reason why I'm bringing up Business Premium in this Hot Patch deck is that as of April, I think as of April this year, Auto Patch is now included with Microsoft Business Premium. When, like everything Microsoft, they like to hide everything behind, more licenses, more money, more cost. But with, you think maybe, what's the added cost of AutoPatch? This can't be a free service that Microsoft just gives you. But as of, April 2025, Microsoft brought AutoPatch to Microsoft Business 365 Business Premium. Before this, it was just an enterprise-only perk, so the E-Series SKUs were, as before April, had access to AutoPatch. But now small and mid-sized businesses can get these same enterprise-grade automations at no extra cost. As we know, if you have more than 300 business premium licenses or any business SKUs, you have to go through the upgrade to the E-Series. But why does this matter? It kind of levels the playing field. Businesses can now reduce IT overhead, simplify patch management, and boost security without stretching their budget. They don't need all the added benefits of E3, E5. You don't have to. Microsoft keeps adding a lot more features into Business Premium, making it more of a good value, but more so kind of a catch-all license for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff inside Business Premium, some of those features that come out later, they will go to Enterprise first. They will be vetted through there and 100% and all that stuff, and then it comes down and they add it into that Business Premium a little bit. The reason being, I think, is if larger companies, you're dealing with more of that. If you're trying to deal with the small and medium business, you may only be dealing with one IT person and it's not working and Microsoft's trying to help you with it. It's a little bit harder with that small to medium business. So it does eventually most of the time roll down, but it is something that, it's gonna be something that is for enterprise first and then come down eventually, usually.
And I do have a asterisk next to support for hot patching, because even though there's support for it, like I said earlier, hot patching is only available for Windows 11 Enterprise OS versions, and Business Premium does not have Windows Enterprise. So here, again, more Business Premium. Uh, 365 Business Premium is the most complete plan for small and mid-sized businesses. It's not just about the Office apps. It's about security, management, and productivity in one package. With Business Premium, you get enterprise-grade security with Defender for Endpoint, Intune for device management, and Azure AD P1. You don't have to add those add-on SKUs to every single user. It makes your license management easier, and it's cheaper just to bundle everything instead of trying to take into, just like assigning a Office apps license with a P1 license and then maybe a separate Intune license. Smart access controls. With Intune, you get remote wipe, and with the Business Premium, comes with Azure AD P1, and with that you get conditional access and then policies that can help keep your data safe, even if a device is lost or stolen. And Watson, you can maybe touch on some of the benefits of conditional access and what that kind of gives.
How many people are using conditional access? How many of you are licensed correctly for conditional access? Again, I don't want to see hands because I don't want to whatever. But it is something that we bring up now. It used to be, it's just you buy one or two, or you buy it for half, and it goes to everyone. And Microsoft doesn't know or care. They do know, and they will probably start caring. So something about this is, if you're doing Business Premium and you're doing those CA policies and stuff like that, you're going to want to make sure that those CA policies are licensed, or each user is licensed. Because here's the problem, and let's say you don't have any business or premium licenses for conditional access, but you buy one, and you give it to one person because they need that, so you turn off the security defaults. Well, now that you've turned off the security defaults, you've basically opened up problems for all the rest of your users to protect the one. So it's kind of, yeah, you want to make sure that those are there. Conditional access is awesome. It's great. It's wonderful. Use it, utilize it. Just make sure you're using the licensing for it that you need to. One thing that HiPoint that we've done is with conditional access, in order for us to access 99.9% of anything that we have as an application, has to be on our work laptop, and we have to be in country, and all of those types of things. And there's even more that we do down of, if we are doing some stuff, we actually have to be inside an office or remoted through an office to get to some of that stuff. And that's where all of that extra conditional access actually comes in. So
Device has to be enrolled into Intune
Yep.
and in a compliant state. So if for some reason, and I'm not sure, how our conditional access policies are set up, but you can say if someone has turned off their firewall on their device or whatever, it goes into a non-compliant state, and then now they won't be able to access any sort of company resources.
So conditional access, we can help with it. If you're doing some, try and get it for everyone so that you're not missing out on some of those security defaults that you had to turn off. Yeah. I have not
Risk-based.
risk-based, yeah. For small, medium, no. If you have some compliance type things that you have to work on where, if it's risk-based and stuff like that, where, hey, we're noticing this is a big risk, hey, we're going to make you reset your password and stuff like that, and you can put that into, conditional access policy. So it depends on what you need it and how bad you need it. So a lot of times, like I said, it's a compliance thing that drives that P2. Yep.
Impossible travel and yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the biggest thing with that one would be with P1, you could kind of work around the impossible travel by requiring, like Watson was saying earlier, requiring your devices to be registered into Intune and then blocking access if they're not. That would stop a lot of what we see token theft with MFA, is people will accept the MFA prompt and then be redirected. They'll get that token. Attacker will get that token and log in as themselves, way either on the other side of the country, out of the country, whatever. P2 helps with that because impossible travel, but also you can kind of use the P1 and requiring compliant devices to stop that as well, because that attacker wouldn't be coming from a compliant device.
Yeah, that's one of the first conditional access policies that we set up is out of country. Block anything out of country. And the funny thing is, when we did this years ago, our owner lives down in Texas. Well, he likes to go across the border and have, a couple drinks and stuff like that. And he calls me up on a Saturday going, I can't get to any of my work stuff. What's going on? I said, where are you? Well, I'm in Texas. And I said, okay. And I can hear the Mexican music in the background and stuff, So I'm like, well, did you go over to Mexico? Well, yeah, but I'm like, I can throw a softball at my house. And he's like, you're in Mexico. You're picking up a Mexico
Or picking up a Mexican towers. Yep.
So again, it works out great. I love it because if I go on vacation down to Cancun, I can't do any. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm out of the country. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. So obviously there is some exclusions that, you can put somebody in vacation mode to block some of that off and those types of things. But yes, the out of country is usually the first one that gets put in because it knocks down a lot of the phishing attempt, or, yeah, you got caught and stuff like that. Sometimes you can put on the unknown IPs, which means if they're trying to tunnel in on VPN, NordVPN, those types of things, it knows those and will actually block those. So, sorry, go back to your auto patch, Mr. Brandon.
Any other questions off the bat?
Oh.
So if you guys currently have your devices into Intune and you're using just standard update rings within Intune, it's super easy to move or migrate over to AutoPatch. Like I said, it's no additional licenses if you have Business Premium. From basically all you need to do is clear out your current update rings through the traditional Intune Admin Center. And then from there, you can go into your tenant administration and activate AutoPatch. It's a service you actually do have to kind of opt into, accept the Microsoft terms and services, and then it'll take a few minutes for the service to be enabled in your tenant.
It'll take longer for you to read the terms and services than it will to activate.
Because we all read those.
Yes.
And after that, we'll walk through some of the AutoPatch setup, defining your AutoPatch rings, what you want to update, how to define your groups that you want to update or your device groups, and then you just review and activate AutoPatch, and then the biggest thing there is just making sure your traditional device update rings are turned off, otherwise they'll start conflicting with each other. So here we're just going to go over a couple small, just kind of basic AutoPatch setups. I have one for a department-specific setup and then kind of a department-agnostic setup where you're just trying to pull all your devices in. This setup here is going to put out, I made a few groups in here. I have IT, Finance, HR, and VIP, and then all devices at the very bottom. So when AutoPatch is set up in this scenario, IT devices or any device with a category or in the group of IT is going to get Windows updates right away. And after this screen here, we go actually into the deployment settings where you can configure AutoPatch, basically exactly like you've done before with update rings, your update schedule, when you want it to apply. But what AutoPatch is going to do is it's going to make sure it updates all the IT devices first, and then it's going to go to Finance, HR, and then hit your VIP devices last. But then in the end, if for some reason you might have a miscategorized device or a device not in a specific category, it's going to get to all your devices at the very end.
See, I disagree with Brandon. I like the VIPs right at the top.
Right at the top.
I mean, come on.
Even above IT.
Above IT, they're like the first people to do it too.
So in this setup, it's more of a kind of, like I said, department agnostic setup. You basically just give AutoPatch, you say, hey, this is the group that has all my devices, and I want to push it to, like even in here, we just have IT devices first, but then it's going to hit 25% of your devices. It's just going to be a random 25%. And then after that, it's going to hit another 25%, and then 50% of obviously your remaining devices, and just kind of goes out in waves. Here, you can have multiple AutoPatch policies in a tenant. You're not just stuck with one AutoPatch policy. Here we see usually we see a lot of small and medium businesses just having the one update policy that kind of covers all your devices. But here you can specify what AutoPatch updates. You got your driver updates, 365 apps, Microsoft Edge, feature updates, and quality updates. You obviously can't take that one out. But the nice part about AutoPatch is without AutoPatch, you have to create different configurations within Intune to push 365 app updates and Edge updates. This just takes care of it all. Here are deployment settings, just like traditional update rings. You can select a target version of Windows. So when Microsoft releases 25H2, 26H2, whatever the next version is, this isn't going to automatically change your devices. Even though AutoPatch is fully autonomous, it's not going to go and start installing brand new Windows devices or Windows updates, feature updates, unless you specifically call it out in the config. Oh, here's drivers. So within Intune, you can push Windows driver updates, and you can actually either automatically approve the updates or have it manually review and approved. So in this case, we know we have our ring 1, 2, and the IT ring. They just automatically approve the drivers once the manufacturer publishes the drivers to Windows updates. Those devices are going to get it. But ring 3, remember we had the VIP devices in those, so we're actually going to look at the devices in Intune, look at the driver updates that are applicable to those devices, and we might cross-reference them with Ring 1, Ring 2 devices, if you guys are all kind of pushing the same type of laptop or same type of device, and we can manually push those just to prevent, any issues with those VIP devices.
You're still worried about those VIPs.
We can move it around. This is lab. Microsoft Edge updates. IT gets, beta updates, and everyone else, stable updates. And then here's where you can actually fine-tune kind of how AutoPatch works. If you guys are familiar with Windows Update Rings and Intune, this will look really familiar. Basically just kind of configuring the deferral days and the driver update deferrals, how often, or not how often, but how often after Patch Tuesday that the devices will check in and get those updates.
What happens if they miss the check-in?
So normally, I think I have, what's this one? We see a lot of people that want their devices to reboot at 8 a.m. or 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. Maybe like the first Monday every single month. We've seen issues with that with Intune devices is if a device isn't, like if you're saying that you want the devices updated at 8 p.m. every first Monday of the month or whatever, if the device isn't online or checking in during that time, it's going to wait for that next check-in time to install those updates and reboot. So normally what we've been seeing and we've been recommending is automatically installing and restart. That's going to take device analytics and like the user's active time into account and kind of prompt based on when the user may or may not be busy. And it definitely helps get the devices updated a lot faster, and it's, you're not missing updates. And back to that one. Here's where you can do the deadlines for everything, whether it's the 365 apps, Edge, Windows feature updates. You can kind of control those categories separately.